Zach Edey is the most unique player in all of college basketball. 7'4", 7'7" wingspan, averaging 26 points a game and almost 14 rebounds over the last 5. He does a great job of presenting himself. He's impossible to keep off the offensive glass. If he catches it on the left block, the game is over. And if you double him, and this is where he's improved the most, his ability to kick that thing out, absolutely brutal. Zach Edey, his ability to get to the glass, score, and distribute the basketball, and we haven't even talked about his ability to protect the front of the rim.
Fourth in the nation in scoring, second in rebounds. He leads the nation among power conference players in scoring, but this guy can fill it up too. Chris Murray of Iowa, 4 30-point games on the season, averaging better than 20, doubling his scoring average roughly from last year.
Yeah, he's a matchup nightmare. He plays the 4, but I'll tell you one thing, he'll be anywhere on the floor. A defensive rebound, he's going to push it in transition. If he's in the trail spot, he'll knock down a 3. They'll put him in isolations. Iowa runs a great motion offense, and they will move him all over the floor.
There is Iowa head coach Fran McCaffery in his 13th season in Iowa City's 27th year as a head coach. 2 sons on the team, Connor McCaffery and Patrick McCaffery, that you'll hear plenty about tonight. As Fran led his team past Purdue to win the Big Ten Tournament Championship a year ago, and we are underway from West Lafayette. Here is the freshman guard, Braden Smith, and the other, Fletcher Lawyer, who promptly turns it over. Murray ahead of the field, and Iowa gets a turnover and a bucket off of it.
And that was the concern for Matt Painter. He's talking about pressure on the basketball. He thought Iowa would really extend their defense and pressure the ball.
Tried to trap Smith. Freshman who was Mr. Basketball in the state of Indiana last year, only 6 feet tall, but man, has he shown great maturity. He and Lawyer in leading this #1 team. That's deep post position, and Edey with a rare miss on the jump hook.
Really good pressure on the ball by Iowa, pushing this Purdue offense out a step.
The point guard who just had the ball is Aaron Eulis, the younger brother of Tyler Eulis, as Philip Rebrachja misses his first shot of the night. You saw the Hawkeyes starting 5. These are 2 of the most efficient offensive teams in the country. Iowa leads the Big Ten in scoring. Purdue leads the nation in offensive efficiency, which is a metric devised just giving you a little extra for your 3s and 2s and shooting percentage. And Purdue is yet to find the range, and Connor McCaffery gets a hand on it and knocks it out of bounds. The Boilermakers are led by Matt Painter. Painter in his 18th season here in West Lafayette, 406 wins. If the Boilers can give him a victory tonight, it will be 250 wins here in Mackey Arena, a place that is home to him. He played here. Rich history here. Of course, he was a coach in waiting with Gene Cady during the transition. He's just done a magnificent job as Lawyer gets all the way to the bucket.
Fletcher Lawyer is so much more than a jump shooter. His ability to turn the corner off that dribble handoff, he has all different ways to finish. You see his game growing as the seasons went along.
And Perkins, who had a big game this weekend against Illinois, put up 32 points. Can't get his first shot to fall. These 2 offenses who've been so good, and we expect they will be by the end. A little bit tight in the early going. Lawyer has another.
Big time play. Lawyer comes off that ball screen, a little step back, great separation.
Seth, you know he's been struggling a little bit from 3 over his last half dozen games. See a couple go in, and that even from inside the arc, it can help. Eulis from the short corner. Edey with the rebound.
That corner shot's hard, you know that.
Smith, they would like for him to shoot it a little bit more, and that's why.
Yeah, Braden Smith, the last 5 games, shooting 9% from the 3. That is huge for him to knock down that jumper. They go underneath that thing. He has the ability to shoot it.
Murray curling. Now Connor McCaffery.
Watch how they move Murray just all over the floor. He's constant motion.
As you were pointing out as we were watching shoot-around today, one of the few teams that actually still run motion. Eulis, no shoot for you as the shot clock has expired.
That is a big-time defensive possession. Great job of guarding Murray on those curls. These guys run true motion, but watch Zach Edey He is a one-man zone, which enables those perimeter guys to put pressure on the ball because they know they have help behind.
Iowa showing a little bit of pressure, but the Purdue defense so far has kept them at bay. The only points coming off of that turnover and run out from Murray. Smith going to try it again.
That's 2 possessions in a row. They go underneath that dribble handoff, and Braden Smith absolutely makes him pay.
So much for the shooting slump for Braden Smith. Ewis has it rim out. Murray's fighting for it. A lot of Boilermaker hands in there as well, and it'll belong to Iowa. Iowa's made just one of its first 6 field goal attempts. Filip Rebraca, his dad Jelko played for a number of years in the NBA, 16 years of pro, 6 of them in the NBA. And right on cue, Rebraca with a bucket.
Terrific bucket right there. And you're going to see drop coverage from Zach Edey all game long. A lot of middle ball screens for Iowa. If Edey's sitting, plays soft, they can always kick it back to Rebraca or pull up and shoot that mid-range jumper.
Is that type of coverage one of the reasons that even with his size, he's been able to stay out of foul trouble for most of the year?
It's a great observation. It's exactly right. He's in drop coverage. He's not extended out. He becomes a one-man zone.
Good hands from Connor McCaffrey, who pointed out to Ewis, I used my dribble. You got to come help. He does. And Iowa has it safely into the front court.
If you want to watch a game inside the game, watch 24 Murray and watch Rebraca. Them off away from the basketball in terms of screening and cutting.
Well, Chris Murray, so smooth, had a terrific season, never gets rushed. Lawyer might have gotten away with an extra step there. Some might say it was a Euro, others might say it was traveling. But a fresh 20 on the offensive end as Purdue gets the offensive rebound. There's Smith turning corner. Kicks it out. What a find to Lawyer.
Those 2 dudes don't play like freshmen. They are so poised. They play off each other. They play with great spacing. Great job of Smith turning the corner. Great job of Lawyer getting to that corner for corner spacing and an open 3.
On the drive, Edey has the rebound. Here comes Smith with more. No look pass. First has it and the foul. Number 1 is looking like number 1 in the opening going. Paint crew going berserk. Mackey is loud. And Boiler up a little no look. And the and 1. Purdue already up by double figures. 15-4 in the early going. Reese Davis and Seth Greenberg with you. Seth, Purdue coming off a loss to Indiana. And their freshman guards, Braden Smith, Fletcher Lawyer, didn't have their best day. But everybody around the Purdue program will tell you one of the great things about these guys, they don't dwell on it. They don't wallow on it. And boy, there's been some evidence of that early.
No doubt about it. Having a next play mentality, that's easy for a sophomore or junior, but for a freshman, Braden Smith coming out today, absolutely getting to the next play. His ability in transition or in the half court. Watch, you go underneath that ball screen, he steps up, knocks down that 3. Dribble handoff for Zach Edey, you go under, he steps behind, great read. Knocks down the 3, and then in transition. Head up, no look. Right to Cal first with the finish. 6 points, 2 assists. Fletcher Lawyer and Braden Smith stepping up big. Those 2 freshmen's ability to get to the next play is one of the reasons that this Purdue team, in my opinion, is Final Four national championship good.
A lot of coaches will tell you sometimes with freshmen, as Caleb First tries to finish the 3-point play. Guess who's got the offensive rebound again? And Zach Edey scores. We'll tell you, I was saying with the freshman guards that sometimes you have a tough moment, you have a tough few minutes, and it starts to build on itself. But certainly haven't seen that from these Purdue freshman guards tonight. Patrick McCaffrey, number 22, is checked in for Iowa. This is Patrick's first road game since taking some time away to deal with some anxiety issues. It was great to talk to Patrick this morning, and I've known Patrick since he was much younger. Final Four, Fran brought him by years ago. Terrific young man. We're glad to see that he's doing better. He's been back for 3 games now.
What a great family.
Yeah, his first time on the road. Yeah, it was great talking to Fran, his wife Margaret, Connor, trying to get Connor to get baseball another shot, too, at some point.
Not short of opinions from the McCaffrey family.
I bet the opinion right now is they would like for a few more shots to go in.
Yeah, and find a way to get a stop right now. You see how efficient this Purdue team is. They're so hard to defend because they can make threes, because they can play through the post. And how about Mason Gillis? The other night, he makes 9 threes against Penn State coming off the bench.
Gillis already has his degrees in grad school, shooting 40% from the three, but a 9 of 12 that'll do that for you. He'll lift you up, but he gets one along the baseline there, and Boiler's already up by 15. Patrick McCaffrey flying in to get the offensive rebound. Connor's going to try one from 3.
That's the part of his game that's much improved. Connor McCaffrey, he's got a toughness about him. If you could say who's the leader of this Iowa team, there's no doubt in my mind it's Connor McCaffrey. He is afraid of very little. And he's been great support system for his brother Patrick, but also for this whole team. And how about Grant coaching these 2 kids? What an incredible experience.
Running the double at Edey, and Gillis had it swatted away.
Why do they double? I mean, there are 6-foot guards that are doubling him. He looks at him and goes like, really?
McCaffrey weaving in against Edey. He'll shoot over him. Couldn't find some friendly nighttime banking hours. Here comes Smith again. Smith, you know, leave him alone. Left it on the front of the rim. Edey got a hand on it, but McCaffrey, Connor pulls it away. Patrick's running. Alley-oop, McCaffrey to McCaffrey for a bucket.
Really good job playing ahead of the defense. Good shot by Braden Smith. Look, the pace of the game right now, Purdue's doing a great job of deciding when to attack, when not to attack. In half court, they're almost impossible to defend because of that guy right in the middle of the lane.
Well, Connor McCaffrey has had active hands. He's had at least 3 deflections in the early going. Edey surrounded, goes to the left hand. And here come the Hawkeyes. The Mackey crowd wanted a foul called. There's a lot of leaning that goes on against that 7'4", 300-pounder. Strong drive. Edey with the block. Saved by a Lawyer. And coming the other way is Ethan Morton. Drops it off with Smith. Gillis for 3.
That is just so good. Quick ball versus stagger away. Gillis comes over. Shot ready, shows his hands, gets behind the ball. Really good early offense by Purdue.
Gillis already with 5. He averages 6.5. You mentioned that huge game he had against Penn State. Gives him yet another weapon. What a play inside from Tony Perkins, the Indianapolis native. About 20 of his family and friends making their way to Mackey to see him tonight.
Fran McCaffrey, he wanted to extend his defense some, but they haven't been able to score to get into any type of pressure. Because right now you got to find a way to disrupt the rhythm of this Purdue offense.
Gillis tries it again. Edey kept it alive, and look at Smith going right there to the nail and getting a rebound. Now, I asked today, the coaching staff, how is it that a guy 6 feet maybe gets 4 rebounds a game as a freshman? One of the things they teach here, if you have that defensive assignment that he had, you get right to the nail and the ball bounces to you, he's there to take it.
Guards need to get long rebounds. His ability to get to the nail to get an offensive rebound is absolutely huge.
Purdue has them doubled up at the moment, but the Hawkeyes hanging around. The McCaffrey brothers with a high handoff in the finish as the Hawkeyes try to hang around early. Number 1, Purdue with a 22-11 lead on Iowa as part of Black History Month and our Black History Always initiative. Purdue has long been identified with aerospace engineering, and for more than 20 years, Professor Barrett Caldwell has been a leader in industrial engineering department. Since 2020, he has served on the Purdue Equity Task Force to address racial inequities facing recruitment, experience, and success of African Americans at Purdue. Caldwell has degrees from MIT in aeronautics and astronautics and his PhD from Cal Davis in social psychology. This is a university that has been associated with Neil Armstrong, went here as well. Of course, you can stream Black History Always collection on ESPN+. Barrett Caldwell, a staple of the Purdue community here. Zach Edey's taking a break. He has 6 rebounds, couple of blocked shots, only 1 of 3 from the floor. David Jenkins has a lot of stickers on his suitcase in his career. Most recently transferring from Utah is in the game. So too is Brandon Newman. Also Trey Kaufman-Renn, number 4. So Matt Painter going deep into his bench as Fran McCaffrey's played a couple of guys. A little high-low, and Murray uses the left-handed score.
Yeah, and Iowa just changed defenses. They went to that little 3-2, three-quarter court pressure, back into some zone, forced a tough shot, and then Fred McCaffrey was talking about it this afternoon, going high-low. The way they played Chris Murray is absolutely unique because they move him all over the floor.
Lawyer trying to get it inside to Kaufman-Renn. He's working on Rebraca, and he goes up and scores. Trey Kaufman-Renn.
Patience in the post. Patience in the post. Great job of Renn working to the middle of the floor, moving the defender. No double. He scores it.
Now, he's a capable offensive player at 24 in a game against New Orleans earlier this year. Rebraca with the offensive rebound. So Philip Rebraca has 4 in the early going. 24-15 game.
Kaufman-Renn has really improved every single night out. If you look underneath the right-hand side of your screen, how hard he works to create some space.
3 ball was no good from Jenkins. Sanford comes away with the rebound, and they tried to get it into McCaffrey. It goes out of bounds, and it'll be second turnover for the Hawkeyes.
Kaufman-Renn does a really good job of establishing himself in the low block. Look how he fights for position, but look how patient he is, working to the middle of the floor, working to the middle of the floor, staying low, getting an angle and finishing.
Jenkins gets it across as Braden Smith out of the game for the moment. Mentioned Jenkins. Jenkins is just 51 points away from 2,000 in his college career. His Lawyer puts up the 3. A lot of Hawkeyes surrounding it. Kaufman-Renn hits the deck, and Patrick McCaffrey is there to get it. Sanford lets it fly. That's no good. And Mackey Crowd wanted our officiating crew, James Breeding, Courtney Green, and Kevin Brill, to call something, preferably against the Hawkeyes. There's Gillis again.
Great job of Gillis relocating on dribble penetration and being shot ready. And great push right there by Purdue.
He's got 8 points. What a great cut and finish from Chris Murray.
And that's Chris Murray. Think about that. High-low, he gets posted up. He's denied. He backdoors, gets an easy scoring opportunity. Really nice job.
Tremendous pass, too. And the ball goes out of bounds. Braden Smith is going to return for the Boilermakers. And we are at the under 8 timeout. And Iowa hasn't exactly gotten out of the gates quickly. And how about that pass from McCaffrey and Murray with the flush? And it's a 10-point game in West Lafayette.
It's never me versus another team. It's always my team versus another team. Everyone's wearing a Purdue jersey for a reason. As long as we're winning, I don't really care what I'm doing, what stats I'm putting up. If I feel like I'm triple T, I'm going to pass the ball out. I'm not going to try to force a shot up. I'm going to try to make the best play for Purdue every single time I touch the ball.
We take a look at tonight's Wendy's Wouldn't Watch. Those numbers, this might be a foregone conclusion. You'd like to build some drama, but leading the nation in big double-doubles, Zach Edey averaging better than 22 points and more than 13 rebounds per game. And you've said it several times, he is the force. He is the guy that no one else in the country has. And his mom,
most unique
Julia.
player in college basketball.
His mom, Julia, is here. Moved to West Lafayette to watch her son play.
I think it's terrific. And Matt Painter and his staff do as good a job as any staff in the country developing players and then finding the right guys for Purdue. I call them Purdue guys. They don't worry about when someone's rated. They worry about if they fit in their system, if they're going to buy in. And you look at the consistency of this program. They do it by not recruiting 5-star players, but recruiting Purdue star players, guys that fit the culture and identity.
They've had a lot of big guys over the years. A.J. Hammond, Isaac Haas, Matt Harms, and found Edey coming out of from Toronto, played at IMG Academy, and really only in his 6th year playing basketball. Another great find from Braden Smith. Jenkins couldn't finish it.
Only one 5-star player recruited here at Purdue under Matt Painter. Yet look at the success they've had.
End of the game for Iowa is the freshman Josh Dix from Council Bluffs. And had a look. He's a good shooter, but couldn't get that one to go. And he'll head over to visit with Fran.
He's made 5 of his last 9 threes. He is a big-time shooter and going to be a good player. And one thing about Fran McCaffrey, he gets into his bench. He gets these guys experience, especially in this environment. They've done a pretty good job with this pressure, though. Be interested to see what Purdue does handling it.
You know, Painter was talking about some of the matchups that they've had with Iowa over the last few years. They've had great success. Obviously, the exception being the Big Ten championship game last year. They've won 6 of 8. He was referencing a couple of times they've gotten up by 20, and next thing you know, Iowa's down by 2. You know, they keep playing, and that's a reflection of the way Fran coaches.
Yeah, they keep playing, and they can really score. They got a bunch of floor gamers and shot makers on the floor, and they will keep on coming at you.
Mason Gillis, a rare miss. Prior to that last miss, he'd made 12 of his last 18 from behind the arc. 2 of 4 tonight. Newman's going to drive on McCaffrey, and Patrick gets the block, swats it out of bounds. 6 on the shot clock.
This is where Purdue is really good, RD. Their ability to score in special situations, under, side, out of timeouts, first play of the game, first play of the half. They are so good in special situations.
Ethan Morton returns, so too does Caleb First. First, the 6'10 sophomore from Fort Wayne. And Connor McCaffrey's back. Patrick will take a break, and the horn just keeps blowing. And coming in for Iowa right now is Josh Ogundele. Now, he hasn't played, Seth, since December 21st against Eastern Illinois. He's had some injury problems, but last year in the meeting against Purdue, gave him 10 minutes off the bench. He's a big physical guy. They felt like they could get some help from him tonight as Morton steps on the baseline to turn it over, to give them some size and strength against Edey inside.
A big body that can maybe move Edey off his spot. The whole goal when you play this Purdue team is pressure the ball to push him out a step further, and then try to defend Zach Edey early and push him 1 step off his spot. And obviously that's what they're looking for right now.
Perkins in the lane. First guys to get it. Here come the Boilermakers. Braden Smith showing off some handles.
It's his spot. It's all over.
Edey, his second field goal of the night.
You get to the left block, it's all over. You let him catch that thing with 1 foot in the paint, all right, you might as well just go back on defense. The game is over. I mean, and he does a great job, and they do a great job of establishing him right in that left blocker in the front of the rim, Reese.
Ogundele tries to spin past Edey, create a little space for himself, but he's caught under the bucket. Shot clock at 8. There's Connor McCaffrey. Ogundele with the follow, but Edey pulls away another rebound.
How about his hands, Reese? You talk about a big guy. His ability to move side to side, his agility is one thing. Anything that hits his hands, he comes up with. He rebounds balls out of his area because of his agility, but this is where he's really improved. Nice turnover. Bad forecasting.
And they're going to say Purdue touched it last. It'll be Iowa basketball, much to Edey's chagrin. As soon as we're finished, a West Coast Conference matchup. Drew Timme, number 16 Gonzaga hosting San Francisco and Spokane. 9 o'clock Eastern, 6 Pacific, right after we finish here. I mean, is the sky falling as Spokane? Gonzaga's actually lost 2 conference games.
They're not who they were. You don't lose Chet Holmgren and just replace him. They're not as good defensively, but they will be just fine. That's a tough shot.
Maybe an ill-advised one, but Murray, I think Murray thought it was his own man. Morton was there with him. That might have been a travel. First has it inside, and now there's going to be a call on the floor. I said that tongue-in-cheek about Gonzaga.
Well, here's my thing about Gonzaga. They're obviously the Duke of the West Coast Conference. They're the biggest game on everyone's schedule. They're not as good as they've been, but they're still a team that once they get in the NCAA tournament, because of the pace they play with, their style of play, because of Drew Timme, you see the guards getting better. And plus, there's got to be a reason for Farnham to go there so he can get some flat break.
Edey missed point-blank range, a rare miss. He had it right at the rim. Zach hasn't shot with his usual efficiency so far tonight, but we saw him really pick it up in the second half against Indiana on Saturday after the Boilers throwing a big hole. And there's another excellent pass from McCaffrey, and Ogundele puts it in.
High basketball IQ. Great job of Ogundele going to an open area, but great job of Connor McCaffrey extending that double team.
Well, Braden Smith somehow got himself out of jail. They talk about the vision that he has. Lawyer going to try it again, and this one's an air ball. And I think they're going to get Edey for a foul.
Zach Edey, he gets to the left block. He's impossible to defend. He seals his defender. He goes over that right shoulder. You cannot block that. Better get back on defense.
Teams plus the Pac-12 Conference of Champions. Who stands the best chance of winning a championship? A lot to like about Purdue, Wojo.
Great response by Purdue coming off the loss to Indiana and their freshman backcourt. Smith and Lawyer, 13 of the first 15 points.
Hey, look, Iowa's going to have a chance to stay in this game because of how they take care of the basketball. Haven't really heated up from three, only 1 of 8 there, but they're lingering, and that matters. And, Coach, what I'm going to say, when you give the ball to the big fella Edey down low, the guy's feasting on the opposition.
Jordan Cornette, first of all, that mock turtle you're wearing, I mean, I know it's the Mike Bray look, but come on now. And the second thing is, you need to throw the ball to Edey because you know what? If he can't score, he's going to kick it out and get all those guards, an open look. So he's a valuable asset. I'm not even sure you could block his shot.
He's only hit 2 of his first 5. But he does have 7 rebounds, couple of blocked shots.
He walks into Mackey and gets 7 rebounds in the first half.
Murray using the left hand again, but this time left it way short.
I got a question for you. You look at yourself as a pretty good offensive player, a famous jump shooter. Did you score it over the top of Zach?
No, I'm looking for a teammate.
You're one of the few passes you throw.
Not many. Try to give you some tonight. Lawyer takes it strong. Perkins coming the other way. Perkins and Eulis, both good mid-range guys. Not something you see a lot of, but often days gone by, a staple of a motion offense. Those 2 guys can score in mid-range. Murray can score from anywhere.
I would expect. Watch that screen.
Needs to be another name for that. That's bigger than a screen. It's like a wall.
It's like an oak tree. Big old oak tree, like right in the middle of the fairway.
Foul was called on Eulis. The officials have given their whistles a rest tonight. And I believe these are going to be the first free throw attempts of the night. And you see it's unusual for both of these teams. The top 2 in the Big Ten, Seth, in free throws attempted per game. They're also top 2 in the nation in terms of more free throws made than their opponents have attempted.
Yeah, it's incredible, but they're also top in the country in not fouling. These guys defend without fouling. They keep it in front, and they don't put their opponent on the line. And that's kind of how you create that differential. I know the coaches in the league would say, how is it possible that Zach Edey never fouls? Because he basically never fouls because he plays this one-man zone. If you look at the logo, the big logo, he's not leaving that area.
Rocha tried to go over Edey. Couldn't get it done. Those 2 free throws Smith made means that Purdue has now made 123 more free throws than their opponents have attempted. Iowa's yet to attempt a free throw tonight. Lawyer thought about the 3, finds Borton first, got some room, and first scores. He's got 4, an excellent ball movement, just whipping that thing around.
The ball goes in, gets kicked out, you make one more, you repost it. Great ball movement by Purdue in the half court.
Bracha, soft touch. Phillip has a bucket to cut it to 12. He's got a half dozen.
Yeah, he's another versatile offensive player. You can put him in ball screens. He can short roll and be a passer. Here's that full court pressure. They extend their defense two different ways. They look to get a steal or look to make Purdue use some clock. 53 flat right now, Coach.
53 flat jam on the whiteboard from the Purdue sideline. First. That one worked. 53 flat jam for three.
And 53 flat jam wants to get the ball inside to Zach Edey. They shrink the court on the weak side. What does Purdue? Reads the defense, skips it. First knocks down a big three.
First has 7 here in the first half. Purdue's lead back up to 15. The defense has been exceptional tonight. McCaffrey, Connor shot it from 24 feet out and only shot it 23 feet.
Good, better, best is a phrase that Jay Wright believed in, but this is just really good ball movement. Watch right here. Edey gets a touch. You double, what does he do? Hits it out opposite. Shot fake, a little penetration, make one more. Post feed. That is just really good offensive basketball.
How about Smith splitting that pressure? Now Purdue has the advantage. First had a look and opted to pass on it in the final minute of the first half.
He's got a little Aaron Craft in his game. Got a little toughness about him. Better offensive player in terms of a shot maker as a freshman. Watch the double. One more and one more. That's just really good basketball.
Lawyer hit one earlier, but can't quite find the range on his three-point shot tonight. And first, as the offensive rebound draws the foul.
But when you put the defense in rotation, RD, ball goes into the post, you draw a double. When you put the defense in rotation, when they're coming out of rotation, it is hard to rebound the weak side of the floor.
That was the second foul on Aaron Eulis. Final 24 seconds of the first half coming. Purdue up 15. Guy just 3 and 6 away. You see the scoring and the shooting way down. It's been that way tonight for a team that's averaging 80 points per game and attempting to do something in the long and storied history of Iowa basketball that they've never done before. Beat a #1 team on the road. Got a hill to climb and some work to do in the final 24 seconds of the first half and the second half if they're going to pull that off.
Purdue is so complete offensively because they can play through the post. If you double the post, they play out of the post. They can also play off dribble handoffs and high ball screens, and they make the extra pass. Watch Edey run into the rim right now.
Shot clock inside 4. Smith's got to get it up, and he does. Martin with a steal, and he throws it toward the basket. He can't get it to go, and what a finish to the first half. And what a first half performance from that freshman guard, Braden Smith.
Braden Smith comes off this high ball screen, turns the corner, looks for Edey for a second, and just off the wrong foot. Are you kidding me? Dropping dimes, knocking threes down, turning the corner, and making plays.
He's into double figures. Boy, as he answered the bell in the first half. Big lead for Boiler up at the half. Let's go to halftime now, and Kevin Connors.
Hi, Reese. I think it's safe to say good as advertised in every way. The nation's #1, flexing its muscle here. We got the full Monty tonight here on our ESPN Halftime Studio. Steve Wojciechowski, Jordan Cornette, and we got Joey Brackett's Joe Lunardi joining us here tonight. His exclusive reveal of his top 16 teams. Joe, let's talk about the bracket buzz prepared by TaxAct, and the floor is yours, my friend.
Well, the Women's Committee, of course, is making an official reveal a little later tonight, Kev. Why should they have all the fun? We're going to do this every Thursday the rest of the way. No surprise, of course, Purdue, #1 overall. We might have to adjust if the score was reversed in their current game, but no threat of that right now. It's going to be a pretty jam-packed top of the bracket like it always is.
Indeed, it is, and we've got the nation's #1 at the top of Joe's bracket. We'll have much more with Joe throughout the course of the night. Wojo, you saw the 16 teams there. What's your initial reaction?
Well, Joey Brackett's a lot more relaxing being on this side of bracketology, I can tell you that. But the team is Purdue. They've been the best team in college basketball since the very start. Zach Edey, the most dominant player. Matt Painter can coach with anyone in college basketball. And then every time I watch their freshman backcourt, I'm more and more impressed. And then you look at them on the defensive end, only 4 teams have reached the 70-point mark.
Yeah, very impressive. At Purdue, you got to imagine, is looking at being that overall one. I guess my look is at this Virginia group, right? Like, Virginia is at the 3 seed line right now. We know that the ACC is undervalued. It hasn't been a great year, but there's some really good teams in that ACC. What's the ceiling for Virginia? If they run the table in the rest of the regular season in the ACC, if they go ahead and win the ACC tournament, can they become a 1 seed? I think that's one of my biggest questions right now.
Joe, you could basically carve 1/7 of the field out with the Big 12 teams here. What stands out about where they are in your top 16?
If you take a look at that grouping again, you'll see 5 Big 12 teams on the top 4 lines. There have been weeks where there have been 6, and TCU has been there. And that could create some bracketed rematches in early rounds that the committee would normally try to avoid. And, Jordan, to answer your question, I think Virginia is at its ceiling because of the weakness of the ACC overall.
Just the beginning of these conversations.
This guy shows up just to rain on my parade. All right,
go.
Joe, we appreciate that. Luckily, we can't find where you live right now, my friend.
Joey's in the undisclosed location. When we come back, we're talking let's get ready to rumble and porridge and Pac-12 teams capable of winning a national championship. That's ahead.